It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Apartheid took us away, democracy must put us back.
I'm Mustafa Kasim, former District 6 resident, resided in Stone Street, or also known as Clip Street, and Pontiac Street, and Reform Street, from where we were eventually evicted.
Name is Yusuf Vavasa, age 71 years of age. I lived in 60 Chapel Street. I attended Chapel Street Primary School and Trafalgar High School.
Yeah, I'm Mandy Sanger. I manage education at the District 6 Museum. My family has no link directly with District 6, but we were forcibly removed from Claremont Newlands. So in that sense, I have a link.
My name is Matthew Napoleon. I study in number 58 Primrose Street, just behind the hospital.
My name is Wilhelmina Rhodes. We were staying in Hanover Street, 211. And I'm 66.
My name is Muhammad Benjamin. I am from District 6. I was born in District 6. I lived first in Sakira Street, then in Mackenzie Street, and then to Prospect Avenue, and then moved to Lavender Hill, and I'm 57 years old.
I'm Lionel Davis, born in District 6. I am 76 years of age.
When they declared District 6 a white group area in 1966, I think it was P.W. Botha was Minister of Community Development at the time. And we were sitting in a classroom at Trafalgar High, and we saw on the telly news that was on the Sanlam building. Don't know if you remember the telly news. And we saw that it was declared. And it was a tragic day because Trafalgar was always politically involved in whatever was happening around the country. Trafalgar and Livingston was the most politically active schools with boycotts and strikes and pamphlets and whatnot. And by the time I had to move, it was in 1981, after they were the group people with the GG cars, the Volkswagens. They were looking for me for 3 years. Although I was at home, every time they came around there, I just told them, no, he's working in Durban, he's coming at the end of the year. And 1981, we were eventually, they built this road, this Keisergracht past the Aspling Street Mosque, and they removed all the water pipes, the sewerage pipes, they cut off the electricity. And my house that I was living in Reform Street was like a house on the prairie. It was there all by its own, without electricity, without water. We had to go around to my mom's place in Pontiac Street to go and carry buckets of water. And that's the way we were forced out.
About moving, it was very sad. The guys from the group areas, they came to my house, and I actually ran into the room and I hid myself in the room. And I told my ex-wife, my late wife, that she must tell him I'm not here, I'm in East London. And so they said, as ek volgende week kom, dan moet jy oppak, jong. Jy moet jou man bel en sê hy moet terugkom. So I hear what he said. So we started packing. And when they came, they just took us on a truck and they went to dump us in an old park between the mongrels. And between the mongrels, I had a hell of a time. They stole my Valiant. They packed it right up, Lion's Head, no petrol. I sold the Valiant, and we were preparing to go to East London. We picked the Volkswagen. I bought a Volkswagen. We picked the Volkswagen, and I said to my late wife, look, wake me up as soon as you finish with your ham, and then you can move. When she finished, She came to lay next to me and she was fast asleep. When I woke up 12 o'clock, I said, why didn't you wake me up? I ran down, everything was gone.
It was a dark day for me to see how they first of all throw down my neighbor's house, the late Connie Stemmett's house, and the Davids' house, and even Mrs. Bam's house, how this big bulldozer came with this big piece of iron and he just chopped down our house. That was the greatest. And also our friends. You know, we were scattered to different places. We had to become friends to other people. When we moved to Lavendale, it was for months on end when we were traumatized in those trains because, you know, the people that used to live out there. Because one thing I must tell you, no matter what we call our color, but Cape Town had the most beautiful men and women. And these people out there sometimes just wanted to claim us, and then we had to stick like a bunch of carrots together because of people wanted to attack. And then also in the process, we were robbed. You know, we were not only just robbed of our places, we had to, even of our sport, our facility, and I miss that a lot. And that is something that I'm getting over it now, because we are there for a while. But I will never forget it. That's why I will still remain to say, I feel still as a kid, I want to come back.
The group, the Throwers in Lavendale, we were staying there. And I didn't like the Lavendale there. It was so creepy, you know. And one day I come from work, they robbed me. You see? And they hit me with the panga. And I said, no, I don't want to stay here anymore. And I was upset, you see.
Unfortunately, I was in jail then. I was on Robben Island. I was a political prisoner until 1971. And the bulldozers started moving, I would say around about 68, 69, they started bulldozing people's homes. By the time that I was released and allowed to come back to the place of my birth, which is District 6, our homes were all flattened. And I then, for the first time, could see the bulldozers at work because they were still bulldozing by 1976. So that is my memory. Because when I was arrested in District 6, spent 7 years on Robben Island, and by the time I was released, my mother had already been moved to Menenberg. So that was my next home, Menenberg.
One Saturday morning, I think on the 11th of February, I was at the Liberman Institute in Mill Street, right? And then somebody brought in, there was a function there, and somebody brought in the Cape Times. P.W. Botha had declared District 6 a white area. That I remember very clearly. I then went on the opposite side, there was a Mr. Bastian, he had these open windows. You know, he used to lean out and we had a discussion. Also, I went home, we were devastated. We were, where do we go to now? And I also realized what was done to us was barbaric. It was barbarism at its highest. You know, you remove people from our area, you remove a community. Not only our community, it happened in Paul, it happened all over. You know, we were shocked. We were really devastated. We were lucky in the sense that we knew Auntie Minnie Gould. She managed to find us a place, you know, in Milan Street. You know, we knew the Goulds very close. You know, the Auntie Minnie used to be a midwife. You know, so we were fortunate in that sense. That nevertheless we had to, it took us a bit of time, but we found a roof where we could bring everybody, dogs and cats, you know, as a family.
There's a general consensus on the part of both the ANC, the DA, the opposition, whoever they may be at whatever point, that the District 6 museum, District 6 community needs to return. What that's going to look like and who that's going to be, I think is going to continue to be a contentious issue because it's very difficult for people who did not understand the process, let's say 10 years ago, and who now wants to become part of the process to get involved. So there are a range of different things bedeviling it. From our side as a District 6 museum, we're not really involved in that technical aspect. Our concern is with how do you rebuild a community that was devastated by a human rights violation, and that can, in a sense, not repeat those lessons, because throughout history we see repetition. You know, people don't learn from their own oppression. Never. Doesn't matter if you're talking about the slavery, the Holocaust, you see constant repetition.
If you look at our townships, when people who moved out to Bonteheuwel, to Hanover Park, to Manenberg, etc., most of these people don't own those homes. There is no pride in having a home that is not your own. Now, if you have your own home, you take great pride in keeping that house spick and span. Now, if we come back, if I, for example, any one of us, have our own home, we may be living in Manenberg. I came from Manenberg, where there is it's not my home. I'm living in a little hovel. Now I get an opportunity to have a home in District 6, my own home, my family's home. I've got this house for my family, for my grandchildren. They would want to be in a home that is theirs. They will then take pride in that home. So there is a difference. There will be that need to want to come into a place that you can say, this is my family home. So I'm quite optimistic that we can transform people's lives with land restoration, rebuilding their homes away from the crime, the grime that they have devastated our people's lives.
My son was born here, my eldest son. I only got one son. And he always asked me when. Then I said, I must wait. And every time they tell us this story and that story. Now how long? You see? And they want us to pay 2,000, 50,000 for a house. We can't pay it. Hey? 250,000. We can't pay that.
If government doesn't give you the go-ahead, you cannot build. And so the beneficiary trust for 11 years were not allowed to build because of permission, because of being in court. They were taken to court by both the DA government as well as people who said they wanted 40 hectares of land. And why are working class people coming back? You know? So why are people like you coming back? You don't deserve, you never owned. So I think those are some of the problems that we must understand.
My dream is to come back to District 6, to have my children, my grandchildren around me, and to try in some way to rebuild a community with love, understanding, in harmony. Thank you.
My dream is that we must come back, live in harmony, and my dream is everybody's got to try and come back. That is my dream.
My dream is also everybody must come back, and me too. Brown, colored, whatever, must all come back to District 6.
My dream is to come back to Cape Town, to District 6, and I've got confidence in our Minister of Land Affairs. I think and I trust him that, but he said we're all going to come back.
My dream is that I can be part of a process where we build a city that's a lot more kinder than Cape Town is at the moment to all its people.
My dream is to come back home. I'd like to bring the working class back to District 6. We can have a good life and we come home on an equal basis. White, black, blue and pink all come along and live together.
I don't have a dream because dreams are only dreams, and when you wake up the dream is gone. I have a vision for the people of District 6 that everybody that was displaced should be resettled in District 6.
You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.